Fixing Joker's ults in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, I do not have a problem with Joker's ults. I think they all have a solid inspiration, or look cool, but the problem is in gameplay. There are several where when I'm playing, I really can't distinguish the differences between some of his ults, and that's because to fit the fact that Joker's a thief, that they kind of desaturated basically every ult he has. Which then makes most of them just look kind of dark and dreary in the middle of a match. Like, yeah, if you're paying attention, you can tell that you look different, but like, yeah, if you're paying attention in a Smash match, you're more focused on fighting. So, like, in the event of a Joker Ditto, it kind of sucks. I have a few ideas, basically kind of building a bit more on their source material. And again, nothing wrong with Joker's current ults. I think maybe they could be use something like getting a little more saturation. But not much, honestly. So, let's dive in. First, we'll quickly look at the existing alts. The first 4 are based on the color schemes of Persona games, being in order 1, 2, and 5, 3, and 4, followed by an alt based on Crow, and then 2 alts in his Shujin attire. Now, one of the ideas that the Smash Wiki suggests one of his alts is based on makes little to no sense to me, as it has a more clear inspiration than what they're suggesting. Now, I did make an alt more close to their suggestion, but I'll explain that one when I get to it. So, we're going to start with the first alt, I guess. Joker's default costume is based on his Phantom Thief attire, and frankly, it's really good. A nice matte black look that works great in a Smash match. Next up is his alt based on the main color scheme of Revelation's Persona. This is the first alt I'll be changing, but first, let's address its problems. Okay, problem. It's a dark purple look, which yes, fits Revelation's Persona quite well, but the problem is, in gameplay, because of Smash's lighting engine, it ends up looking gray, which makes it look really similar to Joker's default attire, resulting in him basically just looking the same in 2 separate alts, which is kinda a problem. Now, a few ideas are making the purple more saturated, as Revelation's Persona doesn't have this dark of a purple as its main color, or what I did, given I should have also saturated the purple, something I realized at alt number 3, but I'll show you what I did. Now, normally I would have changed Joker's hair color to match Persona 1's protagonist, however, I don't think giving him black hair works. I think, first up, changing his eye color, even if it's not in gameplay but just in the render, makes him look a bit closer and just makes him look more distinct and pop out. And then, again, I realized this next alt onwards, but I really think saturating the purple, like, even just making his coat more saturated, would make him look so much different, because it's a nice looking alt, but in reality, it just looks gray. But let's move on to alt 3. Joker's third costume is based on the color scheme of Persona 3 and the color scheme of the Velvet Room attendants. Now, this alt I honestly think is pretty good to begin with. The blue is bright enough where it does stand out in gameplay, and this is the only one I made one of the only ones I made multiple costumes for because of its dual inspirations, but like, honestly, this one's pretty good as is. I'd recommend maybe making Joker's hair color a bit different, but not many problems. My first idea was giving him hair color more similar to Makoto Yuki, the protagonist of Persona 3. Now, yes, there's the female protagonist, but she has a different color scheme and wouldn't go with the blue, so yeah. My second choice is to saturate the color scheme and give Joker yellow eyes to simulate the Velvet Room attendants. Now, obviously, they also commonly have blonde hair, but that's not an always thing, and I did test it. Joker does not look good with blonde hair. Like, it just does not work. But overall, I honestly do think the change to give Joker yellow eyes to be closer to one of the two inspirations works quite well, and honestly, given this is probably one of the best looking alts he has to begin with, so it's hard to make better, but both of these inspirations work quite well. But on to the next alt, the yellow alt. Another one I've never had any qualms with, as it looks distinct in gameplay, and to be blunt, it isn't bad. But my idea was simply to make a few changes and make it a bit more lighter for two reasons. One, Persona 4 is known as the black sheep of the series due to its lighter themes, and two, Yu Narukami has white hair, and it actually works surprisingly well on Joker. Next up is his red alt, based on the main color scheme of Persona 2 and Persona 5. Now, I honestly don't think its correlation to 2 works that well, because 2 has a bit more of an orangey tinge to it than 5's more generic red. However, I don't think I can really base this alt much on the Persona 5 protagonist, because it's not as if he already has a dedicated alt and is this character. And honestly, one of the outfits the Persona 2 protagonist has works quite well, and this alt already stands out, and it really doesn't involve changing that much. Like, straight up, basically all I did was change his hair to be brown to match the Persona 2 protagonist, and that works quite well. Now, if we wanted to go a bit more in, we could add... Sorry about that. I said a word YouTube won't allow me to say, and I have to censor that or this channel gets deleted permanently. Anyway, the next alt is based on Goro Akechi. I actually didn't touch this alt at all. There's not much I would change about it to begin with. It has a solid origin, it reflects that origin near perfectly, and what my main thing I would normally do of changing Joker's hair color to fit better is already done. And again, I really like this alt. It's nice, distinct, and I do genuinely kind of wish they chose a different Phantom Thief instead of Crow. He just doesn't have that interesting of a design, but given he is basically a mirror parallel to Joker, so it makes sense from a story and that kind of perspective. But anyway, let's move on to the two outfits in Joker's Shujin attire. This is another one I didn't change, as it works well, and its all origin is what it did. Followed immediately by his white Shujin attire, which is based on the summer Shujin uniform, but for some reason the Smash Wiki says it may also potentially be based on Goro Akechi's non-metaverse attire, which I don't understand. I made one to more closely resemble Akechi's non-metaverse attire, but I don't understand why they list that. The alt itself looks pretty good, changing the white uniform to be more brownish, but again, I don't understand why the wiki labels this as this. I would like this to be an alt and I wouldn't complain about it, but it's more just a weird thing they did. Now, last but certainly not least, I will put together a quick and brief montage of all the alts we made, their original forms, and the new ones. So, see you there. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, as only a small percentage of you are subscribed. See you guys in the next one.